Okay, so I apologize for the crudeness of this video, but best I can do. Um, this part deals with the concept of gender in Espanol. All nouns in Spanish are either classified as masculine or feminine. Remember, a noun is a person, place, or thing. So obviously we'll start with people. The simplest way here, obviously, if you're talking about a male, then the word will be masculine. If you're talking about a female, the word will be feminine. So secretario for male secretary, secretaria for female secretary. Okay? Now, obviously with people, usually it's pretty straightforward, but you also have inanimate objects, because remember, nouns are not just people, but also places and things. Okay, so the easiest way in Espanol is usually to look at the ending. Now, as with all rules, there will be exceptions, okay? But generally, if a word ends in the letter O, okay, so like teléfono or libro, that word is feminine. If the word ends in the letter A, puerta, ventana, mesa, generally the word is feminine. Okay, and you can pretty much count on that like 95% of the time. All right, but in addition to O's and A's, there are other endings that could also indicate the gender of the word. So in this case, now this one sometimes gets confusing. We're not talking about A, but the ending is MA. If a word ends in MA, like problema or programa, it's going to be masculine. Okay. If a word ends in TAD, DAD, or ION, the word will always, always, always be feminine. Okay. Also, words that end in ION, here's one to remember and memorize. The O always has an accent, like literally always. Okay. So, look at the endings. Okay. Now, what if the ending is something that literally is not one of those? Okay. For example, the word noche, night, or tarde, afternoon, or, bronce, bronze. Okay. This is where we start to look at what is known as the article. Okay. What is an article? Articles are words that come before our noun. And so in this case, for example, you'll have to forgive me, I need to go invest in a tripod. The word el translates to the, okay? But the word la also translates to the, okay? So what is the difference? Well, el is the masculine form of the, la is the feminine form of the. Okay, so sometimes the only way to know the gender of the word is if the is either masculine or feminine. Same thing with un. Un means a, or sometimes in English we say an, and then una means a, or sometimes in English we say an. Okay, masculine a, un. Feminine a, una. Okay, and you can read in your book more about definite and indefinite articles. Okay, because there are some words, for example, like estudiante. Estudiante means student. Okay, if you say el estudiante, that's a boy student. If you say la estudiante, that's a girl student, okay? Artista, obviously, artist. El artista, the artist, male. La artista, the artist, female, okay? And then same with dentista. If you go to a male dentist, el dentista. If you go to a female dentist, la dentista. Okay, and like I said, there are a couple of other words, all right, that you'll also need to look at, whether it's el or un or la or una, okay, because there are no specific rules for their endings. And in this chapter, we actually have two words that end in Z, okay. The first one is luz. The other one is lapis. Okay, luz means light, all right? Lapis means pencil. There's no rule for words that end in Z. So you just have to look if it says la luz and el lapis, okay? And so when you do vocabulary, it's generally best to try to memorize the article as well, so that way you know the gender of the word. Finally, as I said before, there are also exceptions to all of these rules. These are the 3 exceptions in this chapter. Obviously, there's several more, but you do need to be familiar with them. Hint, hint, they will be on the test. So, for example, the word dia, which means day, even though it ends in A, okay, it is a masculine word because it's el dia. Mapa, which means map, all right, it ends in A, but it's el mapa, so it's a masculine word. And then finally mano, which ends in O, but it's la mano, okay? So it is a feminine word, all right? Whenever there's a conflict between the article and the ending, article always wins, okay? If you have any questions, feel free to email.